All right. My name's Tim McKillen. I'm with Fidelity National Title. I've actually been in the industry for 35 years and here in Sacramento the whole time. Love the industry, love working with people and helping people.
I I can see that just by short time I've known you. You're just all about helping, so that's pretty cool. Well, so you said you're from here, so you went to Rio, is that right? You
It's Real
graduated from
Americana High School.
very cool.
And I ended up going to University of Pacifics in Stockton, UOP.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
kind of really
nice.
interesting how I got into the title industry is, well, there's a couple things, but my grandfather was friends of the owner of Placer Title Company here in Sacramento. And
Okay.
that did help me get a meeting with him. And so having that connection really did make a big difference. And that was the first company I worked for.
And how long was that for?
That was for about 4 or 5 years. Mhm.
Very cool. And so now you're with Fidelity. So what exactly do you do with Fidelity?
So I'm a salesperson, and my
So
job is to meet realtors and lenders and builders and developers and meet them and introduce them to Fidelity and their tools and their products and escrow officers and get them to open their escrow with Fidelity Title.
perfect. I love it. Well, Tim, let's just roll into the questions. Is that
Okay,
cool?
sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. So you said 35 years. I have 32, that the research that I did. But so with over 35 years in the real estate industry, how have you seen the title and escrow landscape evolve, especially in Northern California?
Well, it is completely different than what it was 35 years ago when I started. The business for a salesperson back then was more of a wine and dine. Take people to ball games, to Kings games, take them golfing, build that relationship, get to know the person. I went to lunch every day with a client, um, even breakfasts, and it was all about networking. We still were the only game in town that had the information on real estate. We had microfilm and microfiche back then before computers.
Mm-hmm.
I would still do searches using microfilm for neighborhoods. So what we call farming, how I help realtors gather homeowner information and use that information to build business. Um, I did that back then using microfiche and microfilm, and I would slide the microfilm under a camera and hit the button. It would take a picture of it and spit out the information. And I would put that together for my clients, staple it, and then go deliver it to them. So that was a big, that was a big part of the industry. But the bigger part was the whining and dining. I had tickets to the Kings. I had tickets to Music Circus. Um, any game in town where we had tickets, and then I would give them to my clients. I would go with them. I would give them to them. And back then, before RESPA stepped in and stopped from us spending money like that on agents, that's what it was. We had parties. We would put on luncheons, and it was a lot of fun. Golf trips, fishing
Yeah.
trips, fishing
Sounds
guides.
so fun.
Oh, it
Man.
was amazing. I probably spent a couple $1,000s a month on my
Wow.
expenses every month on it, and I was pretty good at it. And it gave us an opportunity to meet with people, get to know them, and build that relationship where they feel, I was genuine, honest, and they felt like, I would come through for them. And then we would get that opportunity to work on an escrow, introduce them to an escrow officer. Then they could start building a relationship. And then that was it. That's how we built our business. And then as the years changed and the rules changed and technology changed,
Mhm.
um, I had to force myself. I never considered myself like a computer person when I was growing up in college, even. We didn't have
Mhm.
them. But even
Sure.
after that, It's funny because now people are calling me to fix their computer or ask them, how do I do this? How do I take this database and convert it into this? And it's interesting because I'm doing that now. So I get a lot of people that call me for things like that. Um, so it has definitely changed big time. Technology, how to use the information and help people build their business is what it's all about. We have all this information, and so we manipulate it. I know the age of a homeowner, when they bought it, how much equity they have. Do they have kids still there? Are they empty nesters? Let's
Mhm.
go after those empty nesters and those homes that were bought 30 years ago, the 2 stories. Um, Maybe 65 and over. I could put that as an age category, and then I can get their email, their phone number, their address. And then we put together a marketing plan and target those people and hopefully, build the business with the realtor. That's just a few examples.
So let's go back to can you explain the RESPA, what those regulations were coming out, because it was such a big, I mean, it had to have been a huge pivot for you to go from, whining and dining to, technology and
Oh,
a lot more stricter
it was
rules.
it was a hard stop with what we were doing. They came out, the insurance commissioner felt like the title companies were spending too much money that would then drive prices up for the consumer. And so they stepped in, and this is just in the state of California.
Oh,
All over the country, there's different rules. In most states, you can still take people to lunch, you can still take them golfing and all that. It's just in California. And so
of
they
course.
felt like it would keep the fees down for the normal person who's buying and selling.
Makes sense.
And so when the rule came out, the rule was like we could not buy anything for them. We could give them something that had our logo on it, like a pen. Couldn't go
Mm,
over a $12 value. And so we would come up with things like a mouse pad that had our logo on it, a pen that you write with, a folder with our name on it, things like that. So a
mhm.
big difference from before where we could do whatever we wanted. And I heard of stories of usually in Southern California, we heard, crazy stories about title companies leasing cars for agents or equipment for their office and maybe even an office. Because if you think about it, uh, one deal, one escrow could bring in a couple $1,000s, and if you've got a client that's giving you 5 deals a month, you're looking at there's 10 grand, and if it costs me 2 grand to lease a Porsche, then business wise, it kind of made sense,
Sure,
and
sure.
kind of. Um, Crazy that it was like that. I never did anything like that up here. I just hear stories about it happening in Southern California. Now there were like equipment copiers and things like that
Mhm.
were probably given to some of the real estate offices to help them, and in turn, they just gave you their business. But it got a little out of control there. People were um, they were getting yachts and taking people on fancy trips and things like that. It started getting not just a fishing trip, up in the Sierras, it was a fishing trip in the Bahamas, so it got, it was out of control. And,
Yeah.
part of me, a part of me was thankful because it was almost like who provided the better lunch, pretty soon my clients were asking somebody else for lunch because I wasn't there, maybe, or maybe, just they came across this person. Hey, can you do a lunch for me? I'm holding an open house. Can you cater it? Oh, yeah, not a problem. So it became like everybody was doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And it kind of it took a lot out of that, I want to say, the joy of building that relationship with a client and coming through for them. And then in a heartbeat, they would maybe go use somebody else because, hey, maybe they wanted to go to this basketball game or football game or something like that. Where
Sure.
now it's all built on your knowledge, the tools that we have to offer to the client to help them be more successful is how I build my business. And once I show that agent or that lender how I can help them build their business, then they become loyal to me because of that type of a thing. And it makes me feel good that I'm able to help them put a deal together. And I mean, that's what it's all about. And that's where I get most of my joy from, is helping the client get deals and put them together, and that helps their family. I mean, I've got lenders that call me right now because rates are dropping. And
Hmm.
so when they drop to certain levels, I know what house is, I know what their interest rate is on their loan. I know what type of loan they have. So right now with the rates that just dropped,
Hmm.
there's 3,000 FHA and VA homeowners that have those type of loans that can actually qualify for a streamline, which is almost like a non-qualifier fix fix your rate type of thing. You don't have to provide a lot of paperwork. You just have to show that you haven't missed a payment and that you're still
Okay.
employed. And that's pretty much it. And you're able to lower your rate. And so as rates are dropping, there's going to be more households. And I have those lists. So now the lenders are now where I didn't hear from them when the rates were up. Now I'm getting calls every day from lenders for loan information. And I have all that. I can give it to that information in a spreadsheet. I can get them their phone numbers. I can get them their email addresses. And that's how I provide now a service to help build Fidelity's business.
More value driven than superficial, like who can give me more stuff type of stuff, which is obviously, I think that's better for you because you're so good at it. I mean, obviously you've done it so long, but it just seems natural to you. I mean, like you're just uh, obviously anybody could throw money or stuff in people's faces, but when you come that value and it show like you just genuinely want to help people, and that really shows. I can tell for sure. So that's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Yeah, it is more gratifying. Definitely. I mean, it was fun. I have to admit, and things like that. Going to ball games, and we still go to ball games and we still go fishing. I just don't pay for the ticket. So that part's still there. And I have great friends and clients that are big Kings fans. And so we go to games together. We buy our own tickets, and we still get to do that. We still go golfing. We just pay our own way. And,
Nice.
I would never pay for their golf or anything. And, because if you're caught doing something like that, I would lose my license. They would lose their license, and that's their livelihood. And so
Sure.
I wouldn't put anybody in that position and just say, "Hey, I just paid for a round of golf. Come on, let's go." You just don't want to do that. So everybody pays their own way, and they want it that way. And so it's just a better atmosphere.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying there's 3,000 people or those types of loans? Is that just in Northern California you're talking about, or like Sacramento
Correct.
area, Northern
Correct.
California?
So when rates for an FHA loan and a VA loan, when they about 2 weeks ago, they did hit an all time low, about 5.375. And so as long as they could better their rate by 0.5%, so that means everything from 5.875 and up, from
Mhm.
5.375, so 5.875 and up could
Mhm.
qualify for a streamline, which is an easy refi to do. There's no appraisal also, not
Oh,
only
cool.
just your pay stubs, you're still working and you haven't missed a payment. And so they can lower their rate. And so I watch those numbers. And so I do pull reports all over the state of California. I do have some lenders that we
Mhm.
will search the whole state. They'll take 5,000 leads and they'll put them into their system, and they try to get refis. And they do get refis. It's a numbers game. And so they do get a percentage. And if it's working, they keep coming back for more. And some people I've got, like, we go from county to county through California, and we just pull those numbers, and then they just send them the marketing, and they get a percentage. And so right now I'm watching the numbers very closely. I think right now is a great time to start building a relationship with that homeowner. Um, right now is not the best time to do a streamline, even though there's probably 3,000 that qualify right now. Best is because we all know rates are supposed to drop next month. about September 15th, the feds have announced that they're going to cut rates. And so I say, wait for that cut and then decide if this is the time, or maybe wait for it to cut again. But we are going to be getting those streamlines, and it will be a big part of the business. And so I'm gearing up all my clients right now. I'm making them think about it. And I say now, start doing the marketing so that when September 15th hits, you're the first person, you're the first thought. I got phone numbers. I mean, people are having these conversations with homeowners right now. And so if I was a loan officer, that's exactly what I'd be doing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Be ahead of the game. And yeah, I love it. So looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest challenges or opportunities for the title industry in the next few years?
Great question.
There you go.
I'm going to have to say fraud is probably one of the biggest things that we're facing now. These fraudsters are hacking into emails, typically the homeowners. The title companies, we've got our boundary lines, the real estate agents, they have their security to keep from hackers being able to hack their emails. But, the homeowner, the buyer, they don't, and they're being hacked. And these people are creating these emails to get them to maybe go to the bank and email their funds or wire their funds into their accounts versus the title company. So what they're doing is they're following the emails, and then and so let's say we send an email about, hey, we're getting close to closing. Let's set up a signing time. How about Thursday next week? Well, what happens is Thursday next week, they're getting an email, and Friday of next week saying, great signing. Here's the wiring instructions. Please send the rest of the money, your funds, to escrow. Could be $100,000, could be $200,000. They're intercepting our emails, and I've seen these emails. I got a call from one of my clients, said, "Oh my gosh, Tim, you got to come see this." I get to his office. He had fake emails that looked like they came from a title company. I mean, it had the logos, it had the picture of the escrow officer, but the email address was off by just a little. The phone
One,
numbers off.
yeah,
Yeah. One digit, one letter.
yeah.
Um, and it was an email that was from the title company to the realtor, and the realtor was sending it to his client saying, congratulations, let's send those funds. The funds were off by only about $1,000. It was the craziest thing. And the client said, hey, I got your email. I'll be wiring those funds over. And he's all, what email? He goes, I got your email about the funds to close, like 125,000. And he said, I didn't send you an email. And then he goes, well, he goes, send it to me. So he sent it to me. That's when I saw it, and we saw the chain, and it looked legit. We had logos, pictures of people. I mean, it was their escrow officer who they were in escrow with. And so title companies, we have procedures, safeties to keep from that happening. We even when you're on hold, we have a message about not, making sure you're talking to your title company before you wire funds, from the number you were given from the beginning, not something in an email that you just got. So we're trying to educate. So that's one type of fraud that they're trying to do. They even try to talk to they'll call the title company and say, hey, I want to change my wire to go to this bank, and I need it now. Don't send it here. They try to intercept it, like, and act like they're the buyer or the seller, and get the title company. We had a deal in San Francisco. We have protocols in place. We never will accept wiring instructions from a phone call and have someone send it to at the end after everything's been done. We had an escrow officer wire out $1 million, and we lost it, for an
Oh
office in
no.
San Francisco. It was $1 million. And just it pretty much took all their profits away for the whole year, and then some. So there's that type of fraud. And then there's real estate fraud. We've got people that are listing vacant land, pretending to be an owner and a realtor of a property, it's easy to probably put a sign for sale on a piece of land where the owner lives in Nebraska, because they're never
Yeah.
going to see the for sale sign. Yet that for sale sign is generating phone calls, and the fraudsters are asking for the deposits to go directly to them if they want to secure that property. And there's people, not working with an agent that would, oh yeah, I want the property. That sounds great. $10,000. And then I get to secure that property. Yeah. And usually the deals are too good to be true. Most realtors
Sure.
know they wouldn't do something like that. Deposits don't go to a owner or a realtor. They come to a title company.
Yeah.
So if you want to work with a realtor, you don't want to try to buy something yourself. It, and that's one of the big reasons why, but there's a lot of fraud like that going on. So we are requesting to phone call and even a FaceTime, a Zoom video with a homeowner who owns properties out of state, to connect with that person to make sure they're that person. We have a series of questions we ask them. We send letters to them, the owner of the property, to their mailing address, letting them know we're not scaring them. We're saying, hey, congratulations. This is what's going on. Call us if you have
Sure.
any questions. So
Man.
fraud, fraud is one of the biggest things we have to worry about moving forward.
And it's only getting worse, right? I mean, it's like this cat and mouse game, and these fraudsters, they're just getting better and better at their methods. It's unreal, like, and you just hear about it, unfortunately, time and time again. That just keeps happening, and unfortunately, like, it's so hard to not only stop it, but when it does happen, those funds are gone. You're never gonna recover those,
Oh, they're gone.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Every now and then I hear stories of us recovering. We had
Yeah,
one
that's good.
fraudster that was in Dallas and set up the account under a person that had passed away. And the the title company did wire the funds, but we were able to contact the banks and get it reversed. And then FBI went in and they did get that fraudster, because I think social was tied to, I hate to say it, but a son of his that had passed away and
Yeah,
something like that. And anyway, he was caught. But yeah, fraud is, and now with AI, with voice
oh,
AI, um,
yeah.
it could be, we're getting back to the old days. When someone closes a deal, we used to give them a check. Now we wire funds. Who knows? We may go back to just giving them a check.
Right? I mean, if it's the safest, most, safest way of not getting taken for your money, yeah,
Yep.
why not?
Yep.
Man, that's some scary stuff though, just to think about, especially like you're talking about with AI, the voice and like, the changing your face. Yeah, I mean, like I was just watching some special, I think it was, I don't know if it's 60 minutes or something, but like real time, like they're changing this person's face, like to match it at the same time, like as they're talking back to them. So they know that like they think they're talking to someone. It's like that fast. It's so crazy.
Yeah,
And
that
it's only
is
getting better too.
fortunate. So we'll see. But
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that was a good question.
Very cool. Appreciate it. So you kind of already went into about, hey, your connections and that, with your community and stuff. But, you're known for being, a networking machine in the real estate community. What are some of your most effective strategies building and maintaining the professional relationships?
So, you have to be connecting with people. Um, and I'm just built that way. And I always have been. And I've been a sales manager for title companies. And so I've worked with all kinds of salespeople. And there are those salespeople I like to call machine. If you want to, I don't know if that's a positive term or negative, but a machine as like you just go, 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 go. You don't, I mean, of course you rest, but I'm just saying, I'm always thinking about connecting with people. Um, since we just got through with COVID, it did change the landscape. I used to be able to walk into a real estate office and talk to 20 people. Now I walk into a real estate office and maybe I talk to 5.
Mm.
I still walk into those real estate offices. I Today I'm sitting here thinking, when was the last time I walked into Remax? When was the last time I walked into Lion Real Estate? I'm thinking of, oh, I need to see these people. I need to talk to these people. I need to be in front of them. Every single time I walk into an office, I make connections, even if it's just one person. And it's funny because I'll be driving around town, maybe going to visit one office, and then I go to a next. And let's say it's 5 o'clock. And I'm thinking,
Mhm.
okay, it's time to go home. But I look and I see, oh, there's Remax. I'm going to go inside Remax and just go say hi. I go in there and I end up talking to like sometimes 3, 4 people. I end up getting escrows. And this is where people might be going home for the day. A lot of the people that are doing the business are in the office doing the business. And so every call is a great call. And even if it's just one person. And so I'm built, and it always, positive things always happen. It's crazy. And it's all about connecting right now. So when I'm driving from one point to another, I'm on the phone calling my clients. Um, well, not driving and holding it up here, but
Right.
I'm talking to clients the whole time. I had a gentleman that just opened up an escrow. It pops up on my phone. I'm driving. I see open escrow. I go, oh my gosh, I'm giving him a call right now. I called him. Um, and we started having a conversation. We started talking about fishing. I'm a big fisherman. He just came back from Cabo. He caught a marlin. He's like sending me pictures, and we're talking, having a great time. And I have a great rapport with him. Every time I talk to him, it's always good. I've been working with him for a long time, but it's all about connections. We have a CRM in our computer system where I can
Mhm.
send out messages to. Um,
Mhm.
we have all kinds of messages that are built for us at Fidelity. I mean, absolutely amazing. Um, I love the emails I send out to my clients are always typically a business tool that's going to help you get more business. I'll get more traction out of sending something out about, hey, streamlines, you know, I start getting calls from lenders. If I start talking about it, I can put out something about, hey, Labor Day weekend, have a great time, move your clocks back an hour. We have all that marketing, but I usually don't send that stuff. I'm sending stuff about how to build your business. I get probably 5 to 15 responses from a piece that I'm able then to meet with them and help them with their business and build that rapport and, just go on from there.
So when you get like, for instance, that pops up and you're driving, like that was something you started building that relationship months, maybe and like even farther
Oh,
down the road,
years ago,
right? Like, yeah,
that,
yeah.
that, that's a 8-year old, probably an 8-year old client. Um, but I, I'm calling up all kinds, people I just met, uh, people that I got to see last week and maybe mention, hey, Tim, we got to get together. I got this new listing. Um, I get a lot of, what's interesting is I get a lot of calls from agents that aren't selling their listings. They've got a listing that's been on the market a month. Then they call me and they go, hey, Tim, nobody's even looking at my house. What's going on? Can you help me? I go, tell me about it. So great example. I'm going to give you this example. The lofts downtown in Sacramento, the lofts, about
Mhm,
$1.6 million property. So, not a ton of buyers probably for it, very unique,
mhm.
but totally cool, beautiful. So I meet the agent and I ask him, I go, so tell me about the lofts, who lives there? And he goes, oh, there's doctors and surgeons. And I'm thinking, okay, doctors and surgeons, very interesting. Oh, because of the hospitals. A lot of doctors and surgeons need to have a second home that's close to the hospitals. We got UC Davis, we got Sutter, we got Mercy, all downtown.
Right there.
I have the database. I can pull up professions. So
Oh,
what we did is we reached out to the surgeon and doctors in Folsom, El Dorado Hills, and Granite Bay. And we invited them to an open house, wine and cheese in the evening to see this beautiful loft. And he sold it. he invited them to an open house. I got him
Yeah.
the list. Now that list has some demographics in it. That list is a paid list. The agent had to pay for that list from the maker of that program. It was 6 cents a lead. I think we had 150 targets. So you're looking at $9 for the list.
Yeah.
And then what I suggested was to get a real nice invitation, make it look like, not like a wedding invitation, but a nice invitation to come to this open house with pictures. And that's what he did. And we sold it. And so those stories are the best. I mean, I've got tons of them. I usually I have success stories every week. So, I was just on a call today in front of 7 agents. The leader of that team, him and another agent both got listing off my efforts of putting together the target list. And they wanted everybody else on the team, which was another 5 agents, to see it. So we had a team Zoom meeting, and I was able to share, what we did to target a specific buyer or seller and put together the deal. And that was it.
Probably everybody in that office who was part of that meeting were probably like, wow, interested. And you probably ended up getting more connections, I'm guessing, from that.
Yep. And so, that's what it's all about. I got all kinds of stories like that, really cool ones.
Yeah, I know that you're the guy to call when there's not a listing, that someone's having issues with listings. So matter of fact, that's how I was introduced to you. So that's pretty cool.
I'm really excited about what we're doing. Can I tell everybody what we're doing?
Yeah, I'd love to. Sure.
Okay. So Kevin, get this listing. It's got tenants, which is tough to sell a house with tenants that are under a lease until March of next year. Is it March or May? March.
Correct.
So what we do is the best target for that would be investors, because they could buy this property and already have tenants there. But not only are we just going to target investors, we're going to target investors who own multiple properties within 3 to 5 miles of Kevin's listing. So I pulled up a section of the neighborhood, probably about a 4-mile radius, and came up with a list of investors. And then what I do is I put that list in alphabetical order by owner, and their names come up, and you see this investor owns 10 properties. This one owns 5. This one owns 3. These own 2. Just in this 4-mile radius, we had multiple people with 5 or more properties. That's the client we want to touch. And not only reach out to them for Kevin's listing, but almost every time they will call Kevin to talk about their properties. And many times you'll get a listing from one of those investors, which then could turn into a huge client for you. I've had 2 clients end up working with investors that wanted to sell 5 properties each. One was in Rosemont and the other one was in Elk Grove. And that client was able to get 5 deals off each one of those investors over a couple months span.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the ultimate. And so working with investors is probably one of the most important things a realtor can do. They're buying and selling property more than a family does. And so I always coach or suggest that you have an investor list that you put together and you just keep them informed. Every property is an investment opportunity. So every time you get a new listing, you're going to let that group know what you're doing. And then in turn, hopefully build a rapport with them, and then they'll call you when they need help. So I'm excited. We just got him in the mail, so
just got him in yesterday.
How many targets?
About just under 220.
220 targets. And these are people that own multiple properties. And that's just in a 4-mile radius.
Just in a small radius. Yeah.
Who knows how many properties they own in Sacramento County or in California or wherever, but we are talking to the people that are working that neighborhood. And so very excited for this one.
Yes, me too. And you also made a good point. Like, um, even if, let's just say, for whatever reason, don't get any contacts or about this particular listing, um, you're just like, well, then you can go to the Bay Area investors that have, the money, because compared to listings in, or properties in the Bay Area to Sacramento, there it's gonna be like, that's nothing
You want
compared to
me to
what we
share?
have up here.
Let me share that story because it's a good one. So I had a client come to me and she was having trouble. I think her listing was about almost 2 months old. And she called me and said, "Hey, Tim, my listing's been sitting for 2 months. What can I do?" I go, "Well, tell me about it." Property was in Fair Oaks, listed for 670,000, but needed probably, she said it needed to be fixed up. There was things ripped up in the house. I'm thinking like $100,000 to get that home. It's like a 3,500 square foot home, redoing the kitchens, the bathrooms, the flooring, exterior landscaping. You're talking 100 grand. So for an investor to invest, $670,000 plus another 100, you're looking at, 770, you're looking at selling it for 8. That most investors that are working Sacramento, they're looking for that $300,000 property that they could sell for 450, 500,000. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for a 670, dump 100 and make some money. So what we did was we targeted the investors owned investment property in Fair Oaks, but their home address was in San Francisco because those people are used to prices around over $1 million. And so I was able to range, put them in order by zip code. And then I would go up to the 9-4 zip code and take it all the way until I hit Stockton. And I would get all the Bay Area, got rid of everybody else. And then I went in, we eliminated duplicates. We had a list of about just under 200 of those Bay Area investors that own property in Fair Oaks. And we sent them, the client put together a letter, a flyer of the property behind it, sent it out. 5 phone calls over a 1 week time and sold the property and got a listing from one of them, which sold before she actually
Really?
sold at one property that we were promoting. So she
Wow,
got a listing from an investor and sold it. 5 phone calls. Awesome.
that's amazing.
Uh,
Yeah.
did the same thing for a gentleman for duplexes. We targeted people that own 2 or more duplexes in Citrus Heights, 25 phone calls, 25 phone calls. And we
Wow.
only sent out about 125 letters. So we got like 20% of them to call about his duplex. And so,
That's
yeah,
huge.
it's
Oh my
huge.
goodness.
Huge.
And you just have stories like that for days. It's just like you're the guy to go to for that type of stuff, which is
I hope so.
says a lot. You've been doing this a while, so
Mhm.
obviously you have your clients often highlight your ability to introduce and explain new tools to them and to succeed. What are some of the latest tools and technologies you think real estate professionals should be leveraging?
So we do have some great tools. One of them definitely is our Fidelity Agent One app. It's a net sheet app. And so NetSheets, for those of you that don't know for sure, it's the calculator that will compute what a homeowner would net in a sale of their property. So we put in all the expenses of closing escrow, paying off the loans, anything else if they're offering to pay for fees, a home warranty or something. The program allows you to uh, put together a net sheet on what that homeowner will make if they sell their property. There's also a buyer side too. What's it going to cost a buyer to buy this particular type of home? Now, doing a buyer net sheet can be tough because the lender fees can differ by
Mm,
thousands of dollars. So the program auto populates a 1% loan origination fee, which is 1% of the loan amount, as a fee. And you can get rid of that or keep it based on your conversation with that borrower, but at least they can see how much money they're going to need based on the time of year too, because of taxes and prorations. And so it
Right.
allows you to have that conversation going with this client of yours instead of saying, "Oh, I think you need to go talk to Mike over here at ABC Mortgage. Here's his number, and okay, good luck." You're building knowledge for that client, and therefore they're building their trust in you. So, some agents will say, "Oh, I don't need to know that kind of stuff. I have them call my title officer, my escrow officer, or call me." Um,
Mhm.
I think it's important to know what fees are involved and what it looks like to put together. I did have a client that was driving to his appointment, and I was up in the mountains fishing. By the time I hit self service, he's leaving me all these messages. I had like 3 messages saying, "Tim, I need a net sheet. I'm driving to my clients." I was able to knock one out on my app because it comes with an app form, the
Yeah.
net sheet app, and send it to him like a half hour before he meets with his client. So he's with an offer. He had the offer. So I can plug in all the numbers from that offer and show the client what they're going to net. So to me, being able to do it yourself when needed, I'm
Mm.
here when I can, but I'm not always available.
Sure.
Being able to do that is important. Not only do we have those 2 net sheets, we have another 20 calculators, like this one called buy now or later. We have a calculator that says, should I buy now or wait for rates to drop? Well, guess what's going to
That's
happen
big.
when rates drop? You're going to get a flood of buyers in the market. It's going to drive the price up. And this is a way you can communicate with your client. Hey, if we wait 6 months and rates drop, the price of that home for 600 is going to probably go for 650, 675. If
Easily.
it's like that and people are thinking it's going to be like that, that is a 10% increase just in the price. My program will show what their payment will be now, what their payment will be if they wait. If they wait, let's say they buy now, but rates drop, well, they just refi to today's rate. And now their payment is $600 less because of the price over the life of the loan. It's huge. I mean, it could be a $50,000, $70,000 swing. So my program lets you articulate that instead of just talking about it, that and educate your buyer. Hey, it's time to buy now. If we wait, prices are going to go up. And so if we can find that house now, let's do it. But let's look at least. And so great tool. Plus, like I said, there's 20 calculators. So that's an important calculator. There's one of the calculators is how much can I buy? So you'll have a buyer come up to you and go, well, gosh, I only want to spend $2,500 a month. What does that buy me? Go in the program, you put 2,500, it spits out, if you put 3.5% down, 5% down, 10% down, 20% down, what your sales price is. It does it all for you. And that's principal, interest, and taxes, every
Everything, huh? Cool.
PITI. And you're able to educate them right then and there instead of walking away or having them talk to someone else that might have all that knowledge. So great program. Also, the other program that gives you property information. I've got an app. It's called Fidelity Passport, Title 123 on the App Store. I could take a picture of a property. It downloads a whole profile, gives me contact information, where they live. Sometimes you find that house that's boarded up, weeds up to here. Take a picture of it, drops down a profile. You got the contact information. Now you can reach out to them. Hey, what's going on with your property? You know, I got a person that called me. They were in Monterey. Commercial piece. Tim, what's this piece? What's the address? I looked it up, sent them the property profile. Mailing address was in Los Angeles. He wrote them a letter. They ended up putting the deal together. I, Crazy,
That's
but it worked.
you just never know. Yeah.
You just know. So
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
another good tool. I'd say those are the 2 best tools for me that I like to share. Uh, so, and I
Those
have
are
those.
huge. And you have those at your disposal. I mean, not all, yeah, those, and let's just say, like, not all title companies are the same. Like, you are on another level compared to some other title companies, and the
Thanks.
resources and all that kind of stuff. That's for sure. So
Yeah, some of the other title companies do have their programs, but a lot of the time they don't know the program. They will refer it to like somebody in customer service will knock out the profile for them or the target list. But what I like to do is I like to get the client either in person or on a Teams meeting, Zoom meeting. I share my screen, we build it. You get to see the output. And let's say I do the farm that you want, but we're 100 people short. What do we do? So I can take it and stretch our target mark, stretch it out. Maybe this neighborhood you want to get. So we include that neighborhood. We are targeting the best possible target for whatever you're trying to market. We're removing people that just bought homes. They're not going to buy a home. They're not going to list a home. They just bought a home. Let's get rid of them. We're not going to, even though it's only 50 cents or well, it's 69 cents now for postage plus your paper and all that. So I want it going to the best possible person that might buy or sell that property. So we're gonna massage it, and I want you to watch that. And as we build it, and then I do get clients after a time. They just trust me. They send me a text. I know what they want, and I send it to them, and they know it's going to be how we decided it's going to be. So either way, but I like to have the client go through that process with me, and then I build rapport with them.
yeah. And then, like you said, they've already worked with you before. They know like they don't have to worry about just send you like, hey, this is what I need. And then you already automatically are on top of it because they've not only know you, but have had that success before with you. So that makes total sense that they would be willing to just put it all in your hands and worry about worry about what comes back to it.
The ones that I get those types of requests from,
Mhm.
they are the top agents in the whole county. Um, they're the elite. And so just a text saying what they want and I already know what they want. So, and they're doing it every week. And so they've got their systems in place. I got some agents that want 100 homeowners with a particular target. They want their phone numbers. So they're going to call those people to tell them about a new listing that they just got. And they get deals, they get leads, they get appointments just from that. Even if it's just one,
Right.
it happens every single time. It's a numbers game. It's interesting. If you're working an 8 to 5 job, you're putting in your 8 hours. So for a real estate agent, there's a lot of stuff that comes up that can kind of take you off track from, actually prospecting. And so, it's interesting. If it takes you 100 phone calls to get an appointment, well, then get on the phone and make 100 phone calls and do that every day. And you do that every day, you're going to be a millionaire. If people
Absolutely.
don't realize it's a numbers game, if it takes 200 doors to knock on to get one appointment, then you just got to keep knocking and get those appointments. There's been these real estate gurus that go on circuits nationwide and they're coaches, and it is all about the numbers. And some people need to be held accountable to
Mhm.
make calls, even if it's 50 calls every single day. I have agents that go into their office, and from this point, from 10 to 11, they're nonstop making phone calls, and they do it every day, and they are killing it. They're the ones that are busy, and it's amazing. Not going to say any names. I can name every single one of them.
Yeah.
And it's a numbers game. So if you are a hard
Yeah.
worker and you put the time into it and you do it, you can be successful.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to that, you're doing work now for 3, 4, 6 months down the line of getting something back and filling that pipeline and having those consistent deals that are coming in. That's what it takes is from, I mean, I've, obviously haven't been in this game very long, but from people like I talked to like you and the successful ones that they're like, yeah, it just takes that consistency and being able to dedicate your time and knowing that you're not going to see the results for a while, months down the road, and just to be able to just build your pipeline. So
That you are. You're so right. I got a client that we're meeting next week. She, we were doing a lot of marketing, and this is probably about 6 months ago. And I mean, great stuff. We were targeting, and she had 3 listings that were all around the 500 range. We put them on one marketing piece and sent them to investors. And that was one of the things we did. We did just listed and just solds to let the neighborhood know what she's doing in the neighborhood. Anyway, in the last month, she's probably opened up 4 escrows with us. And I called her to congratulate her and thank her. And I'm like, all that work, was this from all the work that we did 6 months ago? And she goes, yes. And I need to get going again. I need more marketing. So that's why we're getting together again to just kind of touch base, make sure the marketing continues. Cause a lot of agents, they go like this because they're not very busy. They do a lot of marketing and then they get these deals and then they stop marketing.
Yeah.
And then all the deals close out. And then now they don't have any deals, any listings or anything. So it's a tough game to be in. So if you're consistent with your marketing and that's what I try to do. I called her to see, hey, what's going on? And I see you're putting these deals together. She goes, Tim, I need to do some marketing because after these deals are gone, I don't have anything. And I said, okay, let's go. Let's do it now. So that when she does, close them, we've got deals we're working on for the future. And that's important. That's something that happens with a lot of real estate agents.
So for someone considering a career in the title and escrow business, what advice would you give to them to succeed in this field?
Number one would be to, again, connect with the people that work there. Try to set an appointment to meet with them. You could call a branch office and they would probably refer you to like a sales manager or an escrow manager just for the meeting and get that face to face if you can, or Zoom meeting. And, it just takes one person to give you a chance. It was interesting was my family was in the bar business, restaurant business. We had bars. And when I graduated from college, I was bartending and I had a group of agents that came in for lunch every day. We had a great cook and great food. And they're sitting there, I'm bartending and they're going, hey, so Tim, you graduated. They make jokes like, hey, I paid for your schooling because I come here every day for lunch. And so they go, what are you going to do? I go, I don't know. I have a business degree, so I'm not quite sure yet. And he said, you know what, Jim? He said, you like to golf, right? I go, yeah, I like to golf. He goes, you like to have a good time? I go, yeah, but you'd be a great title rep. I was like, what's the title? Anyway,
Right.
little story that's how I got into it. He goes, I want to introduce you to my escrow officer. He set up a meeting here in Elk Grove where I am now, crazy. And set up an appointment, and that got me an appointment with the owner of the company who knew my grandfather. And what happened is I was interviewing around the winter months. It was like November, December, which is not a good time in the real estate industry. Usually it's dipping a little bit. And then when springtime comes, it comes up. So I started calling all the title companies just to make that appointment. And they told me the same thing. Not a good time, Tim, that the market is seasonal. Not a good time right now, but it ended up being the best time because springtime hit and the market starts to go up. And I got that opportunity. They put me in customer service and it got me into the industry. And that's what got me going. I was doing farms for the sales reps. And then what happened is my boss said, Tim, I think you'd be a great salesperson. What do you think about doing this? And I said, oh, that sounds great. And that was 35 years ago.
Man,
So
haven't looked back since. Just been taking
meeting
off from
people,
there.
what the title company was at that
Right.
time. My family had been in their house for a long time. I didn't know. So it was just really kind of funny how it happened. And it's been the best thing for me and my family and a great career. I love it. Love the business. Love helping people.
So obviously you would suggest it for anybody that would consider it, right?
Call title company. Give me a call.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna put your information up on there, and so that way anybody wants to reach out, they can give you a call or email you, and go from there.
Sounds great. Thank you, Kevin.
Oh, thank you, Tim. I really appreciate your support and coming on here and sharing so much value. I knew it was going to be a good time just because you're really easy to talk to and outgoing, and I just really appreciate it. And I can't thank you
Thank
enough.